Glory to God in the highest.
Hi, thanks for tuning in to our daily inspiration again. And as always, thank you so much for taking a little bit of your time to be here with us. And hopefully you will always learn something about our faith whenever you're here. Now, since this video is going to be released either on a Saturday or Sunday, what I'd like to do for the short video edition this time is share this clip of Father Joseph Iannuzzi.
The real presence is Jesus' presence in the Eucharist. He is present there substantially, body, blood, soul, and divinity. That's his real presence. He's present in no other way on earth as he is in the Eucharist. Because in the Eucharist, he is himself there. So the Eucharist, the bread, becomes God. It doesn't simply symbolize him, it does symbolize him, but in addition to symbolizing him, it is him. Body, blood, soul, and divinity. Same with the wine. The bread and the wine become Christ substantially, while retaining the appearance of bread and wine. Substantially simply means the spiritual emulsifying agent that keeps this atomic and molecular structure of bread and wine together. That is God. He not only keeps the bread together in existence and the wine as well, but he permeates it with his own grace through and through in such a way that it is fully God. Every little fragment of that bread is fully God, and every little drop of wine is fully God, such that one drop contains more God, no less God than all of the wine in the cup. And one little fragment, speck or morsel of bread contains no less God than the whole host, you see. This is also referred to as the doctrine of concomitance in theology. So let's suppose that someone goes to communion and receives only the bread but not the wine. Well, they're still receiving the whole God. All right. Though the Second Vatican Council did state that receiving both is a greater expression of our faith, receiving both the wine and the host. And that should be encouraged. It really should.
And then what if we receive communion in a state of mortal sin? Because we're already discussing the subject here, I might as well include this one right here. Listen to this.
Fruitful reception of the sacraments depends upon the recipient's disposition. This is known in Latin as ex opere operantis. That is the work wrought by the priest in administering the sacrament. In the case of baptism, it could be a lay minister. In the case of marriage, it also could be a lay minister. But nonetheless, when the sacrament is administered by the individual and given to the participant, in communion received by the communicant, the fruit, the graces that come from that sacrament of the Eucharist are dependent upon the recipient's disposition, the communicant's disposition, the participant's disposition, you see. So if I go to the sacrament of the Eucharist in the state of grave sin, I receive no grace, even though it contains all grace. How is that possible? Consider the following example. Let us suppose that I approach, let me take a sponge and a rock. Let us suppose that I pour water upon a sponge and upon a rock. Well, the rock absorbs nothing, but the sponge absorbs it all. Why? Because the rock is not predisposed, doesn't have the proper disposition to receive the water, whereas the sponge does. Similarly, the Eucharist contains all the grace, all the living water there is, and it will be poured out upon that soul. But unless the soul is a sponge, it can absorb the water, though the water is being poured. So if I approach the sacrament of communion in the state of grave sin, I'm similar to a rock. The water is being poured out upon me, but it's dripping over me and not penetrating me, not penetrating my soul at all.
Well then, that will be all for the video this time. And as always, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us. And hopefully all of you have learned so much from this video. And remember, if ever you have any feedback or suggestion, please let us know in the comments below. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for your continuous support, contributions, and prayers. And until the next one, thanks again for watching and may God bless you.